And that is why we meron tayong mga pinaplano dapat na mga ruta kung saan natin mailabas ang ating mga kababayan, mga overseas workers. Ngunit yung mga rutang yan ay sumara na dahil nung una, hindi naman sila binobomba. Ngayon, binobomba na.
Bunsod ng tumitinding tensyon sa Middle East sa pagitan ng Iran, Israel at Estados Unidos, nagbabala ang ilang business groups gaya ng Federation of Philippine Industries sa isang inflationary shock na maaaring tumama sa bansa. Ayon sa Pangulo, nakalatag na ang mga targeted fuel subsidies para sa mga apektadong sektor, partikular na sa transportasyon at agrikultura.
Some of the interventions that we are thinking about is to have targeted fuel subsidies to the affected area, to the affected sectors such as the transport sector, the agri-sector.
Samantala, sinabi ng Pangulo na makikipag-ugnayan siya sa liderato ng Kongreso para sa isang emergency measure na layong bawasan ng excise tax sa langis. Sa ilalim ng saligang batas, maaaring bigyan ng Kongreso ang Pangulo ng temporaryong kapangyarihan sa panahon ng national emergency para magpatupad ng mga kinakailangang polisiya.
This is something that we are discussing and it could be helpful, is to give me, the President, the authority to reduce excise tax on petroleum products should Dubai crude exceed $80 per barrel. So I will discuss it with the leadership of Congress and to see it is going to be an emergency measure.
Paliwanag ni Finance Secretary Frederick Go, ang hirit na emergency powers ay layong bigyan ng flexibility ang Pangulo para sa posibleng pagbabawas sa excise tax. Inihalin tulad ni Go ang sitwasyon sa isang lindol kung saan hindi lang ang taas presyo o intensity ang tinitingnan kundi pati na rin ang tagal o duration nito bago magpatupad ng mga hakbang.
Example of very high intensity, but if the earthquake's only 1 second, walang mangyayari. Okay, but a low intensity earthquake that lasts for say 6 hours, tumba ang building.
Tiniyak naman ng administrasyon na may koordinasyon na sa mga kumpanya ng langis para sa staggered o dahan-dahan ang anumang price increase. Kasabay nito, isang direktiba naman ang inilabas ng Pangulo para sa lahat ng opisina ng pamahalaan.
We have given instruction and to all government offices to find ways to be more to save on energy. That applies, ito, panawagan ko na rin ito sa taong bayan. Maghanap tayo ng paraan upang mabawasan ang ating paggamit ng lahat ng mga sources of energy natin.
Kasabay nito, inutusan na rin ng Pangulo ang Department of Foreign Affairs at ang Department of Migrant Workers na i-activate ang mga contingency protocol para sa kaligtasan ng mga Pilipino sa apektadong rehiyon. Sa kabila nito, tiniyak ng National Security Council na walang direktang banta sa teritoryo ng Pilipinas o sa mga EDCA sites. Sa kasalukuyan, nananatili sa $76 hanggang $78 ang presyo ng Dubai crude, kaya naman patuloy ang pagmomonitor ng pamahalaan sa sitwasyon bago tuluyang humirit ng special powers sa Kongreso. Muli naman nagpaalala ang Malacanang sa publiko na manatiling kalmado at mapagmatsyag laban sa mga disinformasyon kaugnay ng sigalot sa Middle East.
Sa isang press conference sa palasyo nitong Marso 3, nagbigay ng direktiba si Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. sa lahat ng ahensya ng gobyerno na maghanap ng mga paraan upang mabawasan ang konsumo ng kuryente. Ito'y sa gitna ng nagpapatuloy na kaguluhan sa Middle East. Tiniyak ng Pangulo na sapat ang supply ng langis sa bansa, ngunit kailangan anyang maging maagap dahil sa inaasahang pagtaas ng presyo nito sa merkado.
Sapat naman ang supply natin, ngunit ay baka sakali, ito ay kakailanganin natin gawin ito upang mabawasan nga ang pagbayad dahil tataas na ang presyo.
Kasunod nito, agad na naglabas ng advisory ang Interagency Energy Efficiency and Conservation Committee kung saan iniuutos nito sa lahat ng national agencies, mga government-owned or controlled corporations o GOCCs, state universities and colleges, at mga local government unit na bawasan ang fuel consumption ng hindi bababa sa 10%. Kaugnay ng mga patakaran, kinakailangang mahigpit mahigpit na ipatupad ng lahat ng ahensya ang mga sumusunod, regular at preventive maintenance ng mga sasakyan, standard system ng pagmomonitor ng mga sasakyan, paggamit ng full tank method, unti-unting paglipat sa electric o hybrid na mga sasakyan, at iba pa. Upang tiyakin ang pagsunod sa naturang abiso, magsasagawa ang DOE Energy Audit Team ng mga energy audit at mga biglaang inspeksyon sa lahat ng ahensya ng pamahalaan. Samantala, hinikayat din ng Pangulo ang publiko na magpatupad ng katulad ng mga hakbang sa pagtitipid ng enerhiya.
We encourage the use of public transport, private vehicles. Punuin naman ninyo yung sasakyan ninyo. Huwag yung isang tao lang ang gumagamit.
Umaasa at nananalangin naman ang Pangulo na hindi magtatagal ang gulo sa gitnang silangan.
Kaya't marami naman tayong hinahanda kung ang ating panalangin ay hindi mapabigyan at talagang patuloy pa rin ang labanan. Marami naman tayong mga interventions. Of course, there will be a great effect on the oil prices that we are facing here. We have already seen the reaction on oil products, sa crudo, sa gasolina, sa LPG, at naramdaman na kaagad, and that's again expected. So we have put together some scenarios. We cannot know. We have heard many estimates kung gaano katagal ito. Ang naririnig natin coming out of the United States is 4 to 5 weeks. Hopefully, it will be less. And hopefully, before the 4 to 5 weeks, the level of intensity of the fighting will come down. In other words, the commerce will proceed in a more or less normal way, number one. And secondly, that the oil production will start to normalize. And hopefully, of course, this is our hope, sooner rather than later, that this will happen. However, in the scenario that Dubai crude it comes between between $80 and $90 per barrel, and this lasts for 2 months, we have identified. And assuming that Iran exports continue, although I don't think that is a fair assumption anymore, because that's going to be the first place that people the attacks will occur. So the response of the government, some of the interventions that we are thinking about, is to have targeted fuel subsidies to the affected area, to the affected sectors, such as the transport sector, the agri sector. The agri sector comes into play because fertilizer is a petroleum derivative that comes from the oil, and for fisher folk. As soon as oil prices breach $80 per barrel, meron na tayong gagawin, and we will use several of the funds. We will use the funds. For example, we will use the Pantawid Pasada program and the subsidy for farmers and fisher folk. We are also trying to look at the possibility of easing the transport cost burden to workers, for the traveling public, providing maybe no fare bus rides along major routes, and maybe to hold fares down on the transport, our public transport facilities. And of course, we are now going to look for whatever subsidies we will need to provide, so that hindi naman masyadong maramdaman ng working public ang pangyayaring ito. There is also a proposal that we will examine further. I am going to talk to the leaders in both the House and in the Senate to maybe, this is not yet a sure thing, but this is something that we are discussing, and it could be helpful, is to give me, the President, the authority to reduce excise tax on petroleum products should Dubai crude exceed $80 per barrel. And that wala pa tayo doon. But if in case that happens, then maybe this is something that we will have to. This is one tool that we will have to have. So I will discuss it with the leadership of Congress and to see it is going to be an emergency measure. It is not going to be a permanent measure. It will be something that we will dispose of as soon as the crisis is over. And there has been a coordination between the Department of Energy and the oil companies that whatever price increases they are going to institute, that they be done in a staggered manner. Wag bigla, para hindi naman biglang tataas ang presyo ng petroleum products ng langis. Ito ay yung mga produkto na ginagamit ng taong bayan ay dahan-dahan lang paaakyatin. And that will hopefully become a little bit less less of a problem to the working public. The other area that we looked into are what will be the effect on the remittances, because this is something that will affect the families of those that are remitting funds from our workers in this part of the world. Karamihan ng remittances natin ay talagang diyan galing. Yan ang pinakamalaking working group natin na nandun. Hindi nila kasama ang pamilya nila kung hindi nagre-remit ng pera dito sa Pilipinas. It's a bit of a mixed bag in the sense that the remittances, it's very, very hard to make an estimate. Right now, most of these places, I would estimate, Sec Hans, would you estimate how many of the workers that are in the Gulf countries are presently working normally? Just a rough
I
estimate.
would say a substantial number, maybe around 80-85%, Mr. President.
That's what I'm getting. More or less 80 to 85%. Sinasabi nila, ang report nila sa amin, nagtatrabaho pa rin sila, na pumapasok pa rin sila. Kung hindi sila makapasok, meron silang mga work from home. So yun ang yun ang naging effect doon sa workforce natin sa iba't ibang lugar. The other effect of the other statistic which will have an effect on remittances is going to be the exchange rate between the dollar and the peso. So we will just have to watch that very, very closely and to see what the effects are. That's why tawag ko mixed bag. Halo-halo talaga. May aakyat, may bababa. Kasi kung umakyat ang peso, lumalaki ang remittance. Pero kung bababa naman, ang actual na dolyar na pinapadala dito, di bababa. We don't know where that balance is going to end as of now. So we are watching it very closely. And for those who are interested, there is some sensitivity analysis that we have done what the effect is per $1 of per barrel cost will be, and what the effects will be on inflation, what the effects with the debt is here. Sec Arce has provided us with some numbers, but these are very rough estimates on how it will affect the economy. So right now, again, the problem that we have is that it is a very fluid situation. Now it's a very volatile situation. The information that we are receiving is limited, as you can imagine, as it is a war zone right now. And so we have prioritized, of course, the safety of our people who are in the war zone. Number one, that's always the number one priority. And secondly, after that, what the effects will be to the working public here in the Philippines, and what are the interventions that the government can take up, which I have laid out for you in a general sense. So we will have more I think each of the departments will, as we find out more, which of the departments all the departments will be able to give you a more detailed analysis of what we have. But again, please understand that itong mga numero na sinasabi natin ay hindi pa tayo nakakatiyak dahil hindi natin nalalaman kung gaano katagal pa na mangyayari ito, gaano katagal pa bago babalik, gaano katagal pa yung presyo ng langis ay wala tayong control, as you well know. Paano ang galaw niyan, saan pupunta yan, ay kasama na rin dyan kung anong level ng dolyar. Yung peso naman di gumagalaw as of now, pero ang dolyar ang tinitignan din natin because they are all our remittances are being sent to the Philippines in dollars. So that's the general gist of it. I will take a few questions and then I will leave it to the department secretaries to give you whatever more detailed information that they can. Again, please understand that we cannot give you detailed information, very detailed information, not because we do not want to, but because we do not have it. And we cannot, ayaw namin manghula o mag-speculate, tapos mag-react ng mga tao, may gagawin na sasabihin, no, it is worse than we thought, it is better than we thought. Mahirap magbigay ng mga speculative na especially the numbers. So siguro wag na muna natin pag-usapan yung mga numero at kung gaano katagal ito. But we have, again, we are planning. So meron tayong best case scenario, meron tayong worst case scenario. Nakaplano tayo paano natin tulungan ang ating mga kababayan na nasa abroad, lalo na sa mga Gulf countries. Paano sila maging ligtas, maging safe, paano sila mailabas kapag may pagkakataon na, at kung ano yung epekto dito sa ekonomiya natin, at kung alin ng mga sektor ang tatamaan, at kung anong maaring gawin ng pamahalaan para tulungan sila na hindi masyadong maramdaman itong mga pagbabago sa presyo ng langis at sa pag-adjust ng presyo ng langis up or down. Hopefully, it will come down to back the normal levels that we had previous to this war. All right, so I'll take 3 questions before I.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll take 3 questions from the press corps related to the President's announcement. First question, Ivan? Rafi.
Good morning, sir. Rafi Ayeng from the Daily Tribune. Sir, are you calling for a ceasefire, just like any other leaders in the globe?
I will call for a ceasefire.
Are you requesting for a ceasefire at least?
It's not. We are not a party to any of this. Of course, we want the fighting to stop, but it's not the Philippines is not going to call for a ceasefire. The only people who can call for a ceasefire are those who are involved. We are only involved tangentially, if you want to call it that, because of our people who are there. So we have expressed support for the countries that have come under attack, and we have made our feelings known that we hope that this crisis ends as quickly as possible, and we are asking, of course, for the continued assistance for for the safety of our people. But let me do it now, if it will help. Let's hope that there is a ceasefire, and we, the Philippines, ask all parties to show restraint and to bring this to a close as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next question from Ivan, GMA7.
Mr. President, with the expected oil price hikes in the coming weeks and disruption in the global supply chain, I think it's also a fair assumption na tataas din po ang presyo ng ibang mga consumer goods. Are there certain goods that we are bracing for, and what interventions are in place?
Well, it all depends on how long this lasts. Kasi kung matagal ito, doon mararamdaman. It takes a little while for these price shocks to go through the system bago maramdaman yung daily consumers na maramdaman nila sa presyo ng mga iba't ibang produkto. But because there will be, siyempre magkakaroon ng effect yan pero yung mga halimbawa, the only place where the transport has been disrupted is really in that area. So even if you think about it, yung mga barko na parating na rito papunta mag-deliver ng mga goods, they are still traveling towards here. So that's why I'm saying it will take time for any of the effects of the oil price shocks to work through the system. And of course, the prayer that we have is that before they work their way through the system, matapos na ito. So that hindi na masyadong maramdaman ng taong bayan.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last question will come from Ann Soberano from Radicom.
Mr. President, good morning po. Mr. President, kung magtuloy-tuloy po ang pagtaas ng presyo ng crudo sa world market dahil sa tensyon sa Middle East, ano po ang contingency plan ng gobyerno sakaling magpatuloy ang pagtaas ng presyo ng crudo sa world market? Nabanggit nyo rin po kanina na magbibigay din po kayo ng subsidy sa fuel assistance sa mga sektor ng transport and agriculture. So sa harap po nito, Mr. President, posibleng sustained oil price shocks, paano po babalansehin ng inyong administrasyon ang energy security, price stabilization, at fiscal sustainability?
Well, I explained a little bit kanina, naipaliwanag ko na ng kaunti yung aming na mga intervention kung tawagin. Kapag ito ay ang presyo ng langis ay lumampas na sa $80 per barrel. So, yun na nga yung sinasabi ko, mag-provide tayo ng subsidy para sa ating mga sektor, sa sektor ng ekonomiya na talagang maapektuhan, na mabigat. At yun ang nabanggit ko ay number one, of course, the transport sector, at saka ang ating lahat ng gumagamit ng langis, but then, and that is of course that goes to everybody, but depending again on the price increases or decreases and the adjustments that will happen and how long those prices will be sustained or will last. Depende yan kung masyadong matagal, iba yung gagawin natin. We're already looking into adjusting hopefully the excise tax on fuel, on the other elements na financially magagawa natin to lower the prices of other goods. But even in the worst case scenario, I think that we will be able to provide at least some support to those critical sectors, and I hope that this is something that we will not have to do. We are still hoping and we are still praying that this doesn't last too long, and I hope and pray that our people will remain safe and that we will be able to weather this very difficult storm that is become global in scope. Kaya't marami naman tayong hinahanda kung ang ating panalangin ay hindi mapabigyan at talagang patuloy pa rin ang labanan. Marami naman tayong mga interventions. The other thing that I missed is that we have given instruction and to all government offices to find ways to be more to save on energy. that applies, ito, panawagan ko na rin ito sa taong bayan. Maghanap tayo ng paraan upang mabawasan ang ating paggamit ng lahat ng mga sources of energy natin. Ito ay hindi pa, kagaya ng sabi ko, sapat naman ang supply natin. Ngunit ay baka sakali, ito ay mga kakailanganin natin gawin ito upang mabawasan nga ang pagbayad dahil tataas nga ang presyo. At hindi lamang sana sa government offices, but we have issued a directive to all the government offices to find ways, to find ways to save energy in every ways. Yung mga unnecessary travel, yung mga carpooling, yung mga bagay-bagay na ganyan. And these are things that that the general public can do. We encourage the use of public transport, private vehicles. Punuin naman ninyo yung sasakyan ninyo. Huwag yung isang tao lang ang gumagamit. All of these things can come together. We will give further guidance in terms of that. We will give further guidance. We will make public service announcements to make suggestions to people kung ano yung pwede pa nilang gawin para mabawasan ang kanilang paggamit ng energy. So that is the situation as we have it right now. Thank you all for coming in on this for this very rapidly called press conference. Magandang umaga sa
Thank you
inyo
very
lahat.
much, Mr.
Thank you.
President.